Okay, perfect. We are live on the YouTube. I'm going to share this to Facebook right here, right quick, and share it for y'all too. But hello, everybody tuning in. Okay, this is another episode. Oh, let me pause this. Another episode of Situationships, where we talk about everything, all situations in all types of relationships, whether it's romantic, whether it's mother-daughter, whether it's father-son, vice versa, all those things, any relationship, friendships, co-workers, all those relationships. We have we lean towards, situationships when it comes to romantic relationships, but the only um that's not the only topic that we talk about. So today, before we get started, I just want to reintroduce everybody. My name is Carrie Irene. I am the host. I'm the CEO and founder of HB Impact Group, and I am a creative development coach. I've been a life coach for some years now. My background is in retail, but I realized for 25 years that I was coaching everybody out in their position. So I found myself always hiring. I'm a good coach because we moving on over here. But yeah, my passion is just empowering people. I love putting on positive empowerment events, especially for women. I got one coming up September the 28th. So you're going to be in the Myrtle Beach area. Make sure you get in. It's free. It's free. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to pamper you. I'm going to take care of you. And we're going to have a good time. So that's me. I am Carrie Irene. And so I'm gonna just go around and we can just jump screen to screen. But right beside me is Dr. Susu. Dr. Susu. Oh, also, I am 45 years old. I did say I want everybody to tell their age if they want, their status and whatever. I'm 45 years old and I am single. Very, very single and happily single. All right, Dr. Sue, your turn.
Hey, I am Dr. Sue Carter Collins. You may call me Dr. Sue. I'm a mind mastery architect. That means I work with people and their mindset to achieve their highest goal, get rid of all of those negative thoughts. I am 73 years old. I talked to my friend yesterday and she said she woke up feeling single. So I'm not quite sure I know what that means, but it sounded like I might be feeling single today. I'm just saying. Uh, and yeah, that's I'm just single. How about that?
Yeah, you single. That's exactly right. Dion.
All right, my name is Dion, aka Success Jenkins. I am the CEO of Travel with Success. It is a travel agency, and my pleasure is to definitely make sure that people experience travel. I think it's a healthy part of your life. I am 46. Yeah, am I 40? Yeah, 46 now, and got 26 energy in me, so I gotta remember my age sometimes. I don't know what's going on with that. But successfully single, and I'm open to mingling, and that's what I do. That's what I am.
I like that. I have to use that. I'm successfully single. Like, because I'm right where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? All right, Calethea.
Hello, my name is Shalika. I am originally from Georgia, and can you hear me? I want to make sure you guys hear me. So,
No, I was just kind of, I would kick myself because I said Calethea and then Shalethea. I was like, yeah. Thank you for correcting me.
Care. Go ahead. But yes, I am a nurse slash patient qualification specialist, and I am 43 years old, happily single. Uh, and I am here to learn and to get more wisdom, to be around like-minded people, uh, and to possibly, tell my story to somebody that it will help. Just me, just living life. You know.
I love it. I love it. Your sister gonna be joining us today?
No, I think she had a function to go to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we had the pleasure of meeting her sister last week. Maybe she'll be here next week. All right, Tina.
Now, am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, girl. You know, I over here, right?
I need a voice. I'm Tina Wolf, book with Tina, helping people with everything and anything if the price is right on the plan. Now, I help people with life coaching, helping them get their life together, helping with self-love, building relationships with family, friends, coworkers, romantic mates, whatever is needed. I'm definitely single. I am 52 years of age, and I'm looking for a millionaire husband that wants to take me around the world. So if you're out there, holler at your girl.
Holla at your girl.
That is all.
Bookwitina.com. Do you hear me? Bookwitina.com. All right, so we've been throwing some ideas around all week, trying to figure out exactly what our topic is going to be. So I want to first get the first take of our topic from our newest guest that we have here tonight, Malik. Introduce yourself to everybody, and I'm going to pose to you one of the topics that I saw today, and we'll get your fresh take first. So introduce yourself, Malik. You there? You still ruin some teeth.
You just put me on the spot, so I got to just show up and show out then, right?
You already know.
My name is Malik Du Bois. I'm out of Dallas. I'm 48 years old. Trying to get established in this food industry out here. I've been a cook for like 30 years. We just did an event, our first event yesterday. So, that's what we're doing with our food truck. Check us out on Instagram or whatever. We'll plug that later. But I'm here to just get some different perspectives on this thing because, we're here trying to figure this thing called life out. So.
All right. Did I hear you say you're single?
I am single.
Okay, I just clarify. Just clarify. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I am single.
We want
to. So you single or you single?
I am single times 10.
Oh wow! Okay.
All I have is 5 fish to worry about in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a non-negotiable too. All right, so one of the things I saw this post, I had a memory on Facebook that popped up, and Leticia, that I went to high school with, I graduated with her, and we've done some speaking engagements together as well. It popped up on my memory of a post of hers that I shared, and it said, "Are they your type or are they your pattern?" And I was like, woo, it just hit me because I was like, I wonder, and of course, when we get these memories on Facebook, one of the first things I do is I look at the date, look at the year, and trying to think, what was I doing around that time? Who was I with around that time? What was going on around that time? And man, it was just like this time capsule, just like, it just came up for me, and I was just like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So when I say that, I'm gonna say it one more time, and then I want to hear from you, Malik. Is it your type or is it your pattern? What comes up for you when you hear that?
Well, I'm a person, I don't adhere to the thing type because that changes. People's types change based on their needs a lot. So, but I feel like me personally, I found myself in situations, no matter what physical type or mental type or social status, they were the same. It was a pattern of the same personality in different women. So it's the pattern. That right there is what stuck out when you gave those two options to me.
Mm-hmm. I seen everybody's head doing like this, like simultaneously. Who want to follow up? Who want to follow up after that? Go ahead, Dr. Sue. I see you.
Why you always be calling me out?
Because I see, look.
Well, I recently had a situationship. How about that? Where I fell head over heels in love. And I kept trying to, y'all know I tell all my business, and I'm just, I tell it to make a point though. I'm just saying. I kept trying to make this person be the person that I wanted him to be. Now, y'all, that is just never going to work. And I thought about it. I'm looking at something that I penned yesterday. If it's not aligned with your values, let it go. My non-negotiables. Number 1, integrity. Number 2, honesty. Number 3, self-respect and self-love. Number 4, all of those. I need all of that to give me inner peace. And I wasn't having no peace. And when I began to look at the person is a great person, an honorable man, but you can't fit a square, what's that thing? A square plug into a round hole. I was trying to force the fit, and I realized it was the pattern. It was the pattern. It was, and I may have said this to you, Carrie, I don't know, but it was the same person, just a different embodiment. And I look back over my whole life. It's like, damn, you've just been dealing with the same person time and time and time again. That means you ain't learned shit. You walking, you trying to walk down the same street all over again. And your psyche, your spirit, your soul is screaming, no, 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 no. And you can't even sleep because your soul is just screaming, why the hell are you trying to make this thing work? It ain't supposed to work. Come on. So for me, when you said, are they your type or your pattern? What I realize is that I don't even know what my quote unquote type is because it's just been so polluted with the pattern, and none of the patterns embodied the values that are so important to me.
Right, right. What's on your mind, Shalita?
I totally agree. I think we date and we kind of get the same person but a different personality, but the same different body with the same personality, you know. And you have to kind of look at yourself as, okay, what do I need to work on with myself? Because I am attracting the same type person, but in a different body. And my thing is, I'm always looking for the red flags. You know, he got to be a certain type of way. I'm looking for the ball to drop. And so I'm learning to stop doing that. And then not only that, you ask, is he my type, or is this just a pattern? I don't have a type. The only thing that I realize now is that you have to be consistent. You have to be loyal. You have to, stand on your business, and you have to, and have an intentional with me. Like, you have to be honest. And that's all I look for in somebody now. If you don't have that, then we ain't gonna work either way. I don't care what your status is, how you look, you go to the gym every day, you drive a nice car. I don't care nothing about that. Just right now I'm learning, because it's like something got to give. You attract unemotionally available people. That means at some point you are unemotionally available. You're not opening yourself up. So you looking at that person, he ain't opening himself up. You're not opening yourself up.
Yeah,
So you got to work on that. And I'm guilty. I am. I'm working on it. I see. You know. But that's what I think. That's what I think.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. And one of the things that you brought up is when you start that comparison game to things that has disappointed you in the past, and if anything that they do trigger a memory of the person who did those fucked up things to you or with you or around you or whatever, then we kind of they already got a strike against them when it may not have been in their intention, and a conversation could clear it up versus us being like, here we go again. And on the reverse hand of that, it brings in that another topic that Dion actually brought up is, what do you do after the love of your life has either transitioned or no longer here or not with you? Because then we also do that same thing, because then we're trying to hold people up to a certain standard that we have experienced and we can't get back, and for some reason or another ended without us actually wanting it to be that type of ending, right? Even if they're still alive, that grief of knowing that felt so good to you, and to be so confused about why I didn't feel that way to them. And then now you're holding everybody up to a certain standard where if they don't even meet that, you don't even give them the time of day. So Dion, I would love to hear from you at this point, just talking a little bit about that.
Before we get to that, I do want to chime in on the first question. I'm gonna be like Dr. Sue this week. I'm gonna have a lot of homework on this one. Because I just think about like I've been in that space recently about what is my type. I'm rediscovering myself now. I'm trying to see what I like, what I don't like now, and looking back at my trends and looking back at when I was younger to where I am now. You know, I have had phases where I had a type. I had phases where I didn't have a type. I had phases where, you know, it transitioned from physical to mental to so spiritual to all these other things. So it's like where I'm at now, it's more or less a spiritual connection. It's more or less communication. It's more or less, you know, mental things for me as opposed to physical. Yes, there are some physical things that I see and I like, but it's not like a deal breaker for me. So that's where I'm at now. And I'm trying to piece that together. So this was a good question to hit me this week because this is where I'm at right now. As far as the question that I pose, as I'm rapidly approaching 10 years of the love of my life passing, um, I'm at peace now. There was a time where I wasn't at peace. There was a time where, you know, the first year I was having the worst year of my life. You know, I was at a point where I almost gave up on life, you know, because that person was the person after not loving taught me how to love again and believe in love again. So it opened me back up to that. So the next few years, it was like, okay, well, you know, I got to that lowest point. I was like, well, God, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I had a great life. And I woke up the next day, I was like, oh, well, it ain't over yet. So now I'm growing and I'm alive again. So it's like now there is a purpose for me. So what is my purpose? So the next couple of years, I was trying to get that together and still deal with the loss. And you know, and then the next couple of years, you know, now I'm out dating, trying to meet people, and then I get into a 5.5 year toxic relationship after that. So it's kind of like, you know, that relationship started off really kind of rocky because the person that I was dating was trying to compete with the love of my life. And I was like, you're somebody totally different. I'm liking you because of who you are, but you're trying to compete with somebody that you're never going to win with. So for me, it wasn't me trying to have somebody else live up to that standard. It's that people meet me, and when they ask about my past, I tell them about it, and now they're trying to compete with my past. I'm like, you need to compete with yourself because you're your competition. They're not here because if they were here, you wouldn't be here. So it's a lot to that. But where I'm at now, you know, as of the last year, this 9th year, I've come to a lot of closure. I've come to a lot of understanding. I've come to a lot of peace, and I can live happy and think about it. And it's not something that I'm holding on to. So it's allowed me to open up to other things now.
Yeah, I like that. And you have to, because like you said, or Dr. Seuss started with, the types evolve because you evolve. And you see patterns where, you know, it wasn't necessarily a type, but it truly was just a certain pattern that you were constantly going through, and it was just showing up in different ways, like Shalithia was saying. You was shaking your head awful hard when Dion was talking, though, Dr. Sue. Was this something that you wanted to add on?
Just wanted to say, you know, it's if the people that were in your life, in your field, energy field, if they would just realize you can never compete with the person who is deceased. You just cannot. And regardless of how that relationship between you and your partner may have been, that relationship is sacred. And it's like, don't even dare tread on that because that is one of the things that's going to get you out of my life quickest, right? But what I was thinking about with regard to Shalithia, as we were talking, she was talking about types, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it came up for me. She said red flag. What if you're the red flag? What if you don't have your shit together? What if you need to do the work? What if you're drawing people into your energy field that you desire, but you're not ready? You're not on the quote unquote the pedestal that you want them to be on. So even though you're pulling them in, you're not ready. You're not ready. And the relationship will still crash and burn because you haven't done your work.
That's exactly how I feel about that. Malik, go ahead. I see you leaning.
Yes, ma'am. You know, like I said, I am single and I have been for a few years. And for the past year, after I know I've done a lot of work, that's why I live by myself now. I consciously gave up a whole lifestyle for this one that I'm living now. So I date not with the intention of going in to have sex, which that throws a lot of women off out here. It is really crazy how I meet, and I want y'all to tell me if I'm wrong, because I meet a lot of women that tell me they want a certain type of person. And I'm pretty sure I check off a lot of those qualifications, other than the fact that you're not going to deceive me or manipulate me with your physical. You got to be able to keep up with me mentally. And that is not what's offered a lot of times. And a woman asked me a couple of weeks ago, why do we lose interest in women after we have sex? And I was like, a man doesn't lose interest after he has sex. He's lost interest in you before you gave it to him. You were using it as a tool, and he just waited you out because you were playing a game, doing stuff that was disrespectful the whole time. So it's not even about that, especially with somebody like me. I'm 48 years old, and I have plans for my life. I could be an asset to anybody that's in my life. Knowing that when you say types, there's a certain type of woman that's attracted to me, and I meet them all the time. They want somebody to take care of them instantly. They need somewhere to live. They need you to have a car because they don't have one. They need to make sure you have a job because they need money. I mean, instant. And that's not the first thing they offer you is sex. And that's the last thing I want from you. So I don't understand how to get past the types because I'm looking for somebody that we can communicate enough with compassion and enough empathy in this world so that we can cohabitate and build, because it's not just about us at this age. I don't think that we're going to find a replacement for our first love. The person that we had kids with. I was with someone for over 20 years. I mean, in the next 10 years, I don't see those memories being replaced. 10 doesn't outweigh 20. It's just bad math. So just being real about it, someone to come in and let's like, yo, we can help each other from here mentally, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, through these steps in life from here out. Without all the riffraff, the deception, the dishonesty, just tell me the truth. Because I'm not going to ever lie to you, even if it hurts your feelings. I mean, you just have to deal with it. So do me the same way. And I don't usually get that. So help me out with that.
Who want to step in here? Because I mean, y'all know I can go on and on about that thing because that goes back to my original one is what does manifestation look like in relationships? Because I really do believe that just like anything else, and we all say we believe in manifestation, it doesn't just stop at your job or your bank account or your health. Manifestation works in every single crevice of your life. And this is just another realization of what is okay. I said I wasn't gonna go. I said I was gonna give it to somebody else, and here I go. Who want to go in there? Who want to go in there? Just unmute yourself and go on in there.
Tina wants to go.
Girl,
Unmute.
I clicked the little button and hit ask to unmute because I can't unmute you myself. That sound like these cats in here practicing for the Olympics, y'all.
All right, now can y'all hear me? I'm fighting against the sun in my face.
We can hear you fine. You just pay attention to the road.
Yeah, I was fighting with my phone because first I could hear y'all, couldn't hear me, y'all. Okay, what's the question again?
Well, not necessarily a question, but how do you feel about like when you keep seeing the same type of person, the same type, when you know what you want so clearly, you're so sure about all the qualifications of that perfect mate, yet you still get these people who ain't nothing wrong with them. They're not bad people. It's just that you know it ain't it. And it's like, what is that missing piece that can tweak that manifestation of a human being versus what we've been putting out there when we know what we want? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I can say for me, it's for one or two purposes. They're either there to keep me entertained for entertainment purposes only, because I know ain't nothing gonna happen from it. or it's just a test of the emergency broadcast system, because to me, the more I'm able to identify those people that are coming back into that space, that lets me know that's an area that I need to continue to work on to shift and change that energy. And if I feel like I have already shifted and changed that energy, then that means they just test. And I'm probably going to get a reward at the end of the test after I get through the mess, because that's all that's coming back to me is the mess. So we're going to pass the test so that we can get on to the next thing. That's how I feel.
You muted, Dr. Sue. Seen your mouth just a move.
I want someone, not necessarily me, but someone to address Malik's question about the type of women that keep showing up. Because one of the things that he said, and that really intrigued me, and I say it all the time, you gotta go deep with me mentally. If you can't keep up with me mentally, then that's a problem. That relationship is never going to be anything other than superficial, because I want your mind first. If you can't be as quick as I am intellectually, yeah, that's a problem.
I can answer that. Anybody else wants to take a stab at it though? Dion, go ahead. Go ahead, Shaliti.
I fully stand by that. Like if I'm talking to a guy and we are spending time, if he can't go into debt or talk about uh how can I say it, other things besides sex or whatever, then he's surface level. That's not gonna keep me intrigued with him. That's gonna make me lose interest. So I get what Malik was saying. You have to. We women do the same thing what men do. Like they lose interest. Yeah, you can have sex with them, but yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna get the second date. You're not. They ain't gonna get called. So I treat the guy the same way. Like if you can't talk with intellect, with sense, politics. It could be anything, not just sex and all of that. If it's not deep like that, then I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do with
I don't know what to do with you. Go
I
ahead.
think that
Dion.
we're all on the same page as far as the mental thing. I know with me, physical stuff are fun and they're entertaining, but it's not going to keep me as well. I need that mental stimulation as well. I think for me, when it comes to situations of not get into those patterns of getting those same people, as we said, we have to start looking to ourselves. What are we doing? What are we saying? What type of places are we going to? Where are we meeting these people? It's like a lot of questions that come into my mind. And then as I start exploring that, sometimes I can see where they're coming or, what I did to entice this energy back to me. So I would say, Malik, definitely look into those things and try to figure out, or, kind of like I have like a little notebook sometimes. So I just write their names and write my notes about everybody in my notebook so I can look back, because I try to keep it in my mind, but I need to see it, because with me in my mind I could think that, hey, I'm doing this or I'm putting out this energy, but when I look at the paper, like, you know what, you didn't do that. You put out this. This is what really happened. So that level of accountability for myself helps me to get out of some of the patterns when I get stuck in it.
Yeah, all of that and then some. Was you about to unmute yourself, Malik?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was gonna, I agree with everybody, and I appreciate what your brother just said, because I am very reflective. After this conversation, before I go to sleep, I'm gonna play it back word for word. That's how I do my day every day. I mean, I structure it like I'm playing chess every day. I'm just obsessed with it. So when I meet people, it's like when I say mentally, you got to get to level 10 with me. I mean, I'm going to take you, for example, I meet a lot of people, and the first thing they do is tell me about their religious affiliation. Well, for most of my life, I was a Muslim, but I've done in-depth studies of all the major religions and a lot of the biggest cults in the world. So you got to know what you're talking about. I mean, you got to go further than the Bible said. You got to understand what you're talking about. And not just on that subject, but any subject you bring up, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be interested enough in it to elaborate on it, or I'm going to know something about it. So you're not going to deceive me with just wordplay. And I usually lose people in the 2 or 3 days of talking because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff like movies. Their subject matter is going to be around movies or current events that really don't pertain to me because I'm not a celebrity and I don't care what people with billions of dollars have in their bank account. I don't care about their car getting repoed. I mean, they can afford to get another. That's not my issue. If you're, so you gotta really with me because I know what I want. I'm business minded. And I got to be able to trust you with my thoughts, all of them. I got to be able to drop that whole bag off with you as I go out and turn into whoever I'm going to be all day to secure our livelihood. I got to be able to drop them thoughts off with you. And I can't hear that you're crazy, you can't do it. Because people that don't understand your thinking will tell you that you can't do it because they can't think hard. And that's the last thing you can do is just not be mentally capable enough to believe. I mean, at least be smart enough to not say anything. And, that's what I get with that. And I guess knowing exactly what you want in life at 48, again, I've raised my children, they're all adults. And I was married for a long time. So I know what I don't want. And I know that I see a lot of that and it's different classes of people, different places that I've met them, different affiliations, different job backgrounds. It gets to a point that I'm dealing with the same person. And I don't understand.
Well,
So
brother, I love you so much. I love you so much. But you, Tina, Dr. Sue, Dion, Shalithia, and me are all dealing with the same person over and over and over and over. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's me. It's Shalithia. It's Tina. It's Dion. It's Jordanetti. It's you. When we try to compartmentalize so much about life. We talk about a lot of concepts and stuff, but we don't allow it to spill over into everything. How we do one thing is how we do everything. The law of attraction, going with the flow, all these things. And I tell you, most of the relationships that didn't work, you knew from the jump. Like, I know how far this gonna go. And because I know this can last some years. But you know that what your hope is I hope in the years that I can see right now that I can fix it in a way that it lasts longer than what I'm seeing right now. You know what I mean? We done it, and we have to get to a point where we trust ourselves so much that even a touch can tell you a lot of things. Even the swift look of something or just a twing or a sound can change your mind. And in that moment, if you don't start making steps toward the exit that you know is coming, then you find yourself in these relationships and digging these trenches and these neurological pathways, whatever you want to call it, habits, trends, your what we would say is it your type, or is it your patterns? That's all it is. We're digging ditches where we don't want to plant. Yet that's the only thing that keeps growing because we keep digging in the same place because we're digging inside of ourselves in a place where we're constantly telling ourselves that we don't trust that gut reaction that told us from the jump that this wasn't it. And yeah, we may go through a lot more people, but you definitely going to cut the curve on the time that it takes to get to what matters. Because as you expand, you do need to change, do need to make different decisions, right? Whenever you expand, you ain't going to still wear them tight ass pants. No damn well you can't breathe and be waiting to go on your break so you can unbutton them and sit in the car for a little bit. But that's how we feel in most relationships. We just waiting to unbutton our daggone pants because we can't breathe around these people. But yet we sit and think we cute because we got on them pants that used to be our favorite. No, we got to just get out of these patterns and start doing something different. And know that in the interim, sometimes that people are going to come that are not going to last, and let that be okay. And stop putting so much guilt on that. If you go into a relationship and you know for sure and you trust yourself that this is only last for 4 or 5 months, have fun for 4 or 5 months. So wrong about that. If you're being honest about it, and after that 4 or 5 months, you're like, I feel like this is having a natural wrap up, and I just want you to know out of respect that I feel this coming to an end. But I want you to know it's not that I want it to end. It's just that I just know myself well enough to know that this is what's happening. I have broken up with people that way. You can, I ain't gonna call her name. Well, she probably really don't even care. But my ex will tell you, I told her, I know when my father passed away that you and I will break up because it's going to make me look at life differently. I'm going to realize what I'm realizing now about you and I know that this is not going to last. And I told her that. We didn't break up for months later. But when it happened, she was like, you told me. And I saw what you said coming. And then it made it that, yeah, that she still was upset. Yeah, did she not like it? No, she didn't like it. But we're still friends to this day. And good friends, one of my best friends. Because you have to get to a point where you just know yourself. And it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about it. So when you start looking, at the people who keep coming in your life and showing up, one of the things that I really want to say, especially to you, Malik, I'm about to give it to you directly. There's so much on the brink for you right now. And there's so much deeperness to you right now. And the reason why you're not connecting with the people that goes that deep is because you got to go so much deeper with yourself. Because if you meet somebody right now, they're not going to make it. And until you get deep enough with you to match the deepness that you need in somebody else, maybe just enjoy being single. Enjoy the 4 or 5 month person and just be honest with that. Because you got to go to a place of epiphany. Not that it's going to be the edge of your growth, but you know that right now the table is about to flip. And until the pieces have scattered and you see what's broken that needs to be discarded, what made it so you can pick back up and keep and move on with your life, you're not going to match who you need to be with right now. I don't think. Anyway, unless that's just, it can happen. I ain't going to say it can't happen. No, I take that back because I know it can happen. But at the same time, it's going to be so many more options because you're not fine-tuned to make it more specific right now. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. And yes, that made perfect sense. Your assessment is correct. That's exactly what it is, because what conventional thinking, conventional living, conventional life, traditions, that is not what you're gonna see around. That is not my focus. That is not my intention. And yeah, my thing is, I would tell a woman from the beginning, I'm probably hurt your feelings if we physically after that, because I'm gonna feel the same way I did the day before I met you after we have sex. So if you choose to, I know it's gonna hurt your feelings because you're gonna forget we had this conversation. And I keep getting people that think that I don't mean what I say. It's like, okay, that's fine. But 3 or 4 months down the line, I got an honorary girlfriend because somebody forgot that I said that we were not going to get there. And I didn't change that because that's just me. And I think I'm honest enough and respectful enough because I don't want the bad energy to follow me around. I've done enough in my life. That's why I have 3 daughters, and they're beautiful, and Lord knows, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I will tell you from the beginning exactly. If I think that you're to the point that the level of respect that I think you deserve is beyond what I'm going to give you, I won't even talk to you. I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm not going to play with you either. And more than likely, the people that I attract are the ones that think that they're going to get me to be in a relationship, and they're not. They're not going to. And I tell you, the first couple of days, I can tell you if we're going to even be mentally, just like you said, are we going to be able to sit down without the TV on for a week?
That part.
I don't even own a TV, and I'm not going to buy one. I read and I meditate and I play chess all day. So, can you do that for like 6 months? And if we can't do without Real Housewives or whatever neighborhood coming up, I know we're not going to get along. Can you do without eating meat for the rest of your life? Because I don't really eat it.
Malik, your field is getting smaller and smaller.
Exactly. So I just, like Harry said, the little 4 or 5 months.
But let's insert this right here, because I don't want you to get too far away from the fact that this is so possible. Your field is getting smaller where you stand right now.
Right.
Yeah. So it's almost as if I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks, and one of the things she always reiterates is that when you are not at the point of attraction that you want to attract that person, then think more general, because you don't want to think about the person being missing from your life. You want to be aware of the things that that person is going to provide and how you can identify right here where you stand. So if security is what you're looking for, look at the screen. You know, you locked and loaded with us. You know, anyone who knows, if you ride with me, whoever ride with me, you ride with them. Okay. That's just the way I roll, because I wouldn't roll with nobody otherwise. You know, so if you're looking for love, look at this screen. Because anyone knows if you're rolling with me, you're rolling with love, you know, and start amplifying those things in your life and enjoying those things in your life, that a partner or a love or a whatever it is that you're looking for, a job even. You know, if you're looking for a job that pays you a lot of money, then you need to start hanging out in different clubs and in different groups and talk about money, to get more educated about money. You know, taking financial classes or reading financial books, you know, those type of things, so that you can amplify the vibration that attracts what you want and become and embody that person, because that is going to advance, or that's going to catapult the trajectory of what the deepness that you need to go into yourself by amplifying those things. Because the deeper you go into yourself, the closer you are from where you came from. And that's where you're going to find Miss Malik. Okay. She's there. You have to go ahead, Tina.
I feel like, and this is what I have found out through trial and error, most people tend to attract the opposite of what they want. I just say as a test, why is it easier to attract what you don't want? Because you're thinking about what you don't want. And when I think about what I do want and I focus solely on that, it comes a lot quicker. And then it makes it easier to deflect or block or push away those things that I don't want, because I'm too focused on the things that I want. And so it makes, for me, the manifesting of other things to come faster. If there is something that I desire, that I love or I like and that I want, and I feel like it's not coming at a great speed, it's because there's another shift and a change that needs to go on in me. Now, I just recently had a conversation with some young ladies. I'm like, I want to go outside of my scope. I want to start meeting different people doing different things. And so I went to this chicken and pickle, which is like a pickleball event. Never heard of pickleball a day in my life, but like last month, I met this dude off the app. We dated like a week, but he was telling me, hey, have you ever done pickleball? Now, I'm not with him no more, and he was definitely for entertainment purposes only, but he also introduced me to something new. So by him introducing me to something new, I tried something new and I liked it, because I only know what I like. I don't know what I don't like until somebody introduces me to it, which is why I want to have an open mind to trying different things to see if I like it. And by me being open-minded and going to the chicken and pickle event, I actually met some pretty cool people. Actually gave me some new ideas and how to connect with other people, how to socialize, how to solo travel, how to do, I mean, so it opened up a whole brand new thing of things that I actually had been manifesting and more. And with this group of ladies, we were having we had a very brief conversation, and we were talking about, romantic relationships, and we were talking about, being married and things like that. And this particular young lady, she shared that, she basically, to me, this is summary. She didn't want to have a high body count, but she had somebody that she really liked, but she was waiting for them to get their shit together. Now, one thing I'm learning to try to do, especially when I first meet people, is keep my mouth shut, because I wanted to say to her, you wishing and hoping and wishing, and you've been doing this for some years, and the years that you're waiting, you're blocking out somebody else that's probably more on your level, and that's all I could think while she was talking. And then she brought religion into it and said that basically her belief system is what she is holding on to hope that this gentleman is going to get himself together and circle back around. But in the meantime, she's just going to stick to her beliefs until he does that, and I mean, that is also okay. And she also had felt it like by being celibate, that was also going to bring it in. And it was felt that women that are not celibate, that's probably the reason why they hadn't gotten married. Well, I didn't let her know how many times I had been married and how many relationships I had been in, because she probably would fell out of her chair. But I told her, I said, well, I've been married. I said, I've tried being celibate and then get with somebody. And I've tried, sleeping with somebody and get married. And let me tell you what, there is no formula. There is no one-way formula. I mean, you got to do what's right for you and what you feel is good for you. But I think the most important key part, whether you sleep with them or not, and this is just me, and I know she probably didn't like what I said, but I said, it's just me. Whether you sleep with the person or not, are you taking the time to get to know the person? That's the key thing. And I said, because initially when we meet somebody, our us, this is going to be a yes, this is going to be a no, or this is going to be for entertainment purposes only, or this is going to be a test. And apparently her intuition is saying this guy is not the one, but she don't want to listen to that. She want to hope that it's going to change, right? And I sympathize with her, and she's attracted into my space because she is the old version of me. And I feel like we're always going to attract, I am that person, I was that person, or I'm about to be that person, right? And I'm already was that person. I'm not about to be that person because I put things in place. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not gonna do that. But what I could be to her if she was open-minded is a different version that says, I'm open-minded. Not saying you gotta have sex, but that you're open-minded and moving forward into getting some of the things that you want. So I'm gonna just digress on that point right there. And then, yeah, I'm gonna just stop right there.
Well, all good points. I love every single bit of it. Oh, there you go. You was gone for a second. I was wondering where your video was. What's up, Jordan? Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. Anything you want to say real quick? Or Dion, you've been quiet too over there. Let the people hear your voice, Jordan Nettie. He's like, I don't know how to mute this. Yeah, I see a little thing.
Okay, I got it.
Hey,
hey y'all. Oh, I missed you guys. So wait, do we have a specific topic for tonight? I mean, I
Girl,
was
we just
listening in.
talking.
I jumped in late.
Nah, we just talking. We started out with is it your type or is it your pattern? And it
Ooh.
really morphed into, Malik talking about how many times, people show up and because of the, certain requirements that we have when one of his is intellect. He's like, people, I want to meet someone on 10 already because you got to stimulate my mind. It's funny because Tina was just talking about that in the group the other day too, which is why Dr. Sue was like, Tina, because like these are the things, that we, look for in a person, but for some reason we keep attracting the same person, the same, it's like different body, same personality, same red flags, as we call it, and things of that nature. So we're just thinking about how to change that. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know how to change it because it happens to me often. But when it does happen, I either think one or two things. There's something more I need to work on. And there's something more I need to look at within myself. And I'm like, dang, I thought I kind of explored all of this already, but maybe I didn't. I mean, I think that comes in layers. Like sometimes we have to take our time and remove things in layers. And sometimes I think that's why some things resurface. But sometimes I also can look at certain things and say, maybe this resurfaced to show me how far I have come. And to see really, am I, when we practice one thing, but being able to apply it now when it comes into your life and it's there and you're actually in the moment, that's a whole nother thing. Because sometimes I can know exactly what it is that I need to do, but is that what I'm going to do when it comes? So it's a tricky thing. It's like, I don't know. And then I had to kind of go through that phase of like feeling guilty because I'm like, did I attract this to myself? Is this, did I bring this to myself? I'm like, why would I, I'm working so much on myself and I feel like I'm growing and things like that. So I kind of had to get out of that as well. But that's a good one. For me, I just feel like I'm still learning. I feel like relationships for me is something that I'm always going to evolve, and that I'm going to always have some type of learning from it. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that it is something that awareness is key, right? To be aware of it when you see it happening or you see that this came right back. Like, what in the world? Why did that come right back? So I think once we're aware, but it also too, I think has a lot to do with what we're doing. In this time and place. Sometimes it's like, are you in the right type of places that you really want to meet people and mingle with? I love museums, but if I'm hanging out in the club every night, which I don't, but I'm just saying if I did, I'm gonna meet people that like to club. But some people kind of miss that key. It's like, oh, I met this guy at the bar, but he doesn't want to do anything but go out and drink. But it's kind of like, all right, but that's where you met him. Like, so it's like, so it's kind of, I think that has a lot to do with it too. But gosh, it's definitely a learning journey for me.
Yeah, for us all. I think we definitely all agree it's a learning curve for us all. What's your mind on, Dion?
I'm just laughing at myself. I'm revisiting my college career.
You said career.
Yeah, my college career. I was in a pattern. I want to say it was my sophomore year when it started. It ended in my junior year because I woke up, I guess. I don't know what happened. But for me, it's kind of like what you said, when I was meeting people, it's just like I already knew it would last for 2 months. And when that time came, I was like, okay. And ironically, like clockwork, on the day that it ended, the new person appeared. It was just so robotic. I was just thinking to myself, like, man, why didn't I see it back then? What was I thinking about? Where was I? But my focus was school. I went to school for engineering, so that was where my main focus. Yes, I wanted to have the companionship and hang out and have someone that was mine, but I knew that I wasn't ready for the relationship. But it was what it was, and we enjoyed ourselves. And when the time came, we ended. I'm still friends with everyone, but it was just one of those things where it was a moment. And then, like there was one person that I was like, I really like this person. I want to take it further, but then I got the 2-month letter. Like, look, 2 months old, well, I'm falling in love with you. You got to go. You focus. You got your school. I got my school. We got to end this right now because it's gonna mess up our school. And so this is where my mind was with this. So that's what I'm thinking about, just laughing at my journey through college and all the fun times that I had there.
Well, I think we all had some fun times, whether you was in college or not. No, that age right in there, I just was all over the place. I needed a leash. Okay. I needed a leash back then. Don't laugh, Dr. Sue. I know you need one now, Dr. Sue.
Leave me alone. Don't be pulling me into your stuff. I'm not trying to.
But
Not trying.
you can tell my business, I can tell yours.
Yes. I
I,
was thinking
Go
that
ahead.
I think that
I ask
some
people, oh, go
I think that some people we intentionally pulled in um, because we're not real clear on who we are and what our values are, the core non-negotiables. Um, and then I think that some people come into your life to as a test. When you say, okay, God, I got this, I finally got it, I understand. And God says, God, source, universe, whatever you call the thing that is the creative force, it says, okay, so you got it. I send it to you this way on a highway. Now I'm going to send it to you around the corner. Now I'm going to send it to you from the top, from the bottom, from the side, and I'm going to send it to you all of these different ways. And then if you can get it in every way, then you've learned what you need to learn. Now we're going to send you something else. It's not like the lessons are going to stop. You dig deeper, deeper, deeper. You hit bedrock on that, but every time you hit bedrock on one area, it's like, oh, something else now rises to the top. It's like, damn, I thought I got it, right? Yeah, you got that, but you didn't get this. So let me send this to you.
I got something to say about that. Some people are only in your life for a season and ask for a lesson. Okay, so God is going to send you people. If you are a natural healer or a person that gives love easily, you're going to attract broken people, and then you're going to also attract people that's open to love, and it's going to be vice versa. So it's not your fault by what you attract. I had to learn that too. These people are assignments. They're not to be in your life. They're not to be your soulmate. I mean, they can be your soulmate, but they're not to be. It's all a part of learning and lessons for them to learn and for you to learn and get more wisdom. So it goes in a it's like a repetitive type thing, you know.
And so we want to get deep. Now we talk about soul contracts, and we have these soul contracts that are formed before we come into this lifetime and
Yeah.
before we come into each lifetime. And whatever we have not learned, or whatever we didn't get, then these people, all of us have been together in some form before. All of us. We travel in soul groups. Nothing happens by accident. There are no coincidences. And so in the past life or the life before that or the life before that, there were certain things that you, in essence, said, I need to learn this. I want to learn this. And can you support me in learning that? And I said, oh, yeah, I'll certainly do that. Right. But I didn't tell you how. And so if I told you how, you wouldn't learn the lesson. So I show up as I show up. And sometimes I show up as a murderer. Sometimes I show up as a rapist, a rich man, a poor man, a bitch. I show up in all of these different forms to support you with regard to the lesson that you said you wanted to learn. And then you get all pissed off at me because I show up the way you asked me to show up. Does that make sense? That's crazy. You asked me to help you and I help you. See, you get pissed off because you didn't see it coming. Well, as you come into this lifetime, for most of us, we forget what we agreed to. And it's just as well, because if we didn't forget it, as I said, it wouldn't be as impactful.
Anybody else want to jump in there, Tina? Yeah, go ahead, Tina.
Okay, there we go. I want to ask everybody a question because I ask people this frequently. I'm gonna ask the question and then I'm gonna give you the general answer of what I get, but then I want y'all to answer it not like this general answer. So the question is, what do you take accountability for in the previous relationships that you've been in, family, friend, coworker, romantic mate, where it had not worked out? And the reason why it didn't work out was because the person told you you were doing something that you felt like you didn't do. And the typical response would be, well, what I learned was not to be around them no more. Okay, we know that. But what is it that you can take accountability for that you learned? That maybe the relationship didn't work out, but this person said something that actually pointed it out in you. Like, that's my question is what is it that you can take accountability for in the part of the relationship that did not work?
I'll go. I was in a 20-year lesbian relationship. I believed that this was my forever partner. And I thought that I was absolutely the best partner. But when the relationship ended and I got over being so angry about how it ended and why it ended, I had to look at myself. And when I did my deep work, I realized that I was the maestro. I pulled all of the strings. I was responsible for everything. And it's not that the other person didn't have responsibilities, but I had greater insight, greater wisdom, greater vision. And in essence, I did a lot of, I didn't realize it at the time, but a lot of manipulation in the relationship. So the relationship, I created it so that it worked for me, but it did not work for my partner. And so in the end, when things ended, I was furious. But when I sat with it, I realized that it was all about me. I was the maestro. I created it. It couldn't end, and it couldn't work out any other way.
Yeah, I was in a 20-year relationship with my ex and married with him for 10 years of my life. So I can really say I take accountability for overextending my value and my time with him because you have to understand, I started having kids early, me and him both. Uh, the relationship that we wanted as far as a marriage, what our parents didn't have, we tried to put that into reality. But at the same time, we wasn't healed. We still had childhood wounds, abandonment issues. All of that ran into play. So as I was growing, he was stuck mentally in the prison. Not only did he serve time in prison, but he was mentally in prison still, even in the relationship. So here I am taking up I'm playing the man and the woman, and I'm losing myself. I lost myself. So yeah, overextending myself. Yes, that's what I did. I forgave and I forgave until, God had to intervene and say enough is enough. Enough is enough. I was done. I gave it all I got. So you have to get to that point. You have to get to that point.
I know for me, I feel like in all of my relationships that were serious or long-term relationships, um, thinking that I could fix somebody, taking accountability for overextending myself to a certain extent, to think that I had any responsibility for someone else's path. I know this right, mature, fantastic, sexy age that I'm at right now, it comes across many times that I don't care. But it's truly that I step aside. Now, I've learned how to energetically step aside and allow people to do whatever they want to do. It's not that I wouldn't have it any other way. But if I'm manifesting peace, then one of the things I have to do is relinquish any responsibility for any decision anyone ever makes ever again. And I think that was part of my downfall in relationships, because when I would see them making a decision, even if I know my gut tells me it's the worst decision for the relationship, it's the worst decision for them, it's the worst decision for me, it's still their decision to make. And the sooner that they get to the bottom of the decision making process that they need to do what's best for their path, the sooner that we can start this separation process that I'm so strongly trying to deny by trying to influence the decision that they're about to make. Because I know I can, but it's not my business. And I did that for a very long time, like Dr. Sue, like you get in that manipulative mode. And it's just like, no, if you want to stay. You want to go. And it's not that I don't care. It's just that, man, I love me so much. I love me so much. And it ain't no way that I'm going to extend that love to a place that the door is shutting. It's just like, I am love. I don't have to extend love. And if that love doesn't spill into you because it's ever flowing, then there's nothing more I can do at that point. I can't be manipulating your decisions. I can't be talking in a certain way just so you don't get irritated. I can't be, not doing things or hanging out with people just because I know you're going to be bothered. I can't do, all these things that we do in relationships just to keep the peace. When we got to realize, no, I'm peace. And if I seem unbothered and you get irritated by that, then that's the quickest way to figure out. Be unbothered when someone's wanting to fight with you. That's that right there. Game changer. Game changer. Just sit in your power and your stillness and your joy and watch them freak out and be so mad at you because you ain't mad. Man, let me tell you, relinquish your responsibility for other people's decisions, baby. Let them do them. Let them do them. Who else? Who else? Go ahead, Malik.
Just to chime in to Tina's question, as a man and in my relationship, I took accountability for all that went wrong in my relationship because I'm the man. I mean, psychology was my major. So I go to the why. Why do I even know this person? Because I approached her in the grocery store one day. Why do we have children? Because I got her pregnant. So I was the beginning of all that relationship. So when I saw that maybe it was some things that I did wrong, I consciously stopped doing a lot of things. Even I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking weed. Everything that I thought of that I could do to change this relationship. And what I realized, I was just in a relationship with the wrong person. We were not going to grow together because she was fine at the level we were on in 2000. 2015, I think there was a room for advancement. Progress is behind if you hadn't done anything. So, and I also take accountability after that for leaving and not staying gone, because I kept going back thinking she needed me because she was more like a dependent, and I had children with her, and I took pride of being there with my kids, waking up, cussing them out in the morning to get up ready for school. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm going to make sure you get there. That was my thing. I didn't have a father, so I did that. I dealt with that relationship, and my payoff was I got my daughters through graduation. And once I realized that, I actually said these words. I said, you know what? I'm just doing you a favor by being here. I left. And that was it. No more favors, no more responsibilities. I'm out. So that was the two things that I was accountable for.
I bees like that sometimes. She's like, you know what? Golly, I'm out of here. Yeah, and no disrespect. No love lost. I love you so much. If you really do need me, I'm here. But I'm not just gonna be here in case you need me. We stay for those reasons sometimes. That ain't no reason to stay. Ain't no reason to do nothing. So, Dion, you think of anything?
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought a lot of stuff. I mean, like I said, coming from the love of my life, being broken, being not completely healed, going into a relationship. 3 years wasn't enough for me to heal myself and come into the situation, not building that foundation that we can build upon. And I think about all the different lessons I've learned, all the different things we went through. I think about where we are now. I think about all the things that I did, all the things that in my mind I expected them to do. They expected me to do stuff, but we did not communicate those things. We didn't build a friendship. We did not do all of the things to build that foundation for it to be successful. And for me, that was my fault because I was the elder, 12 years. So, in my mind, it's like, you've been down this road before. They're kind of sort of new, not new because they're older, they're mature, but they haven't gone down the road in the path that you've done. And you're supposed to be the leader here. You're supposed to be running the lead position, and you're not showing them how to be in a successful relationship. You're not, being that person they came for. And for me, that's what it was. I mean, I didn't build that foundation, and that was my fault. I think that going forward after that, that was what I took from it. It's like I have to make sure that I take care of myself because again, I'm the type of person I want to fix everything. I want to be the rock for everybody. I want to be Superman and save everybody, and that's not my position. That's not what I'm always supposed to do. And that was my complex as well. So it's just like the whole situation for me, I just think the main thing was for me was not building that foundation and holding myself accountable from the beginning to the end and trying to fix everything and trying to, put some duct tape on everything and try to hold it together. It just, I can't do it myself, and I shouldn't expect anybody else to do it. We should work together and communicate about those things.
You tried to pull a grandma Pune with that duct tape, huh? Yeah, our grandma used to put duct tape on
everything.
They want her shoes, her favorite slippers. You go in her bedroom and it'd be like boxes and boxes of brand new slippers, and she walk around with ones with duct tape on. It would be so funny. All right, Dr. Susan, did you want to chime in on that? Or Joy
I do. I have a question. Is it your responsibility to grow someone up? And I ask that question because the 20-year relationship, this person was an adult, but this person had no coping skills. This person could not do anything, even as simple as going to the grocery store, even as simple as balancing her checking account. So I basically took this person, and I am so steadfastly adamant with this. Don't y'all pardon my language. Don't fall in love with fucking potential. Don't do that, because I saw potential, and so I raised her up to the potential, 5 higher level degrees, including 2 master's degrees and a PhD. I raised her up to the potential that I saw. But when a person can't see that for themselves, you can raise them all you want to. They're never going to be happy. They're never going to have the self-esteem, the self-worth, the value that you see. And so it's like the other part of that is it's really not fair to them, because you put I put her in a place that she didn't feel comfortable. She didn't have the skill set. She always felt, never mind the fact that she wasn't, but she always felt very insecure and very inferior. So it's like, I saw that from the beginning. I saw that at the very beginning. It, y'all, I tell all my business. I'm just going to tell you. See, I prayed, God, is she the one? And God said, no, she's not. She's not the one. And I said, okay. And she said, can I live with you? And I said, yes.
You're hard-headed. That's why, because you're
Yes. And so for 20 years, we fought to be together, and we not physically, but we fought to be together, and we fought because we were not supposed to be together. We fought to pull us to stay together, but we were never supposed to be together. And in the end, when it ended and I was furious, God kept saying, I told you. You asked me and I told you and you did it anyway. Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
He be trying to tell us. Your name, and I want to comment on something that you said there earlier, but your name, I want you to go ahead first.
Okay, I'll go. Gosh, I want to respond to both. Um, so for what Tina asked, I can take accountability, which I do take accountability for, um, not having any knowledge of myself, no knowledge of self. I had no idea who I was. I thought I knew everything that I wanted or wanted in this relationship, so we were probably together for about 15, 16 years. My son's 21 now. Um, and he's 7 years older than me. And I would always think in a way of, it's like we met when we were so young, but I matured and he didn't. But that I don't believe that to be true today. That was the mindset I had then when I was in the relationship. Today I don't believe that to be true. I believe that we evolve on our own timing, and we just weren't in the same place. Because if I would have known who I was then, I would have known not to be in that relationship, right? So I don't blame him for anything. I thank him for a lot. And we're actually very, very close now as friends, as not being together. And it's funny because I kind of can tell him, like, dude, you need to be a single man. Like, you can't just be like, you're in this wonderful relationship with this girl, but you're doing all these crazy things. I'm like, it's so but so because a lot of people are like, how could you guys be so close? I'm just like, because I don't have any ill will towards him, and at the end of the day, we made a child together that I have nothing but love around. It's nothing but love around that. So I'm able to look at him and um have compassion for both of us, and be okay with where he is and where I am as well. And I had a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do, and I still do. I still do, and everybody does. But I believe in divine timing now. So where I am in my journey does not mean that that's where you're supposed to be. So I'm able to give grace instead of uh pointing the finger and judgment, like I can kind of step out of that now and just be like, whatever way I can support you, I will. But I also know how to keep my boundary, um, because you know how those exes like to try to come back, right? But it's just, it's all about boundaries and knowing and learning and things like that. So I definitely can say I take accountability for not having any knowledge of self. Um, but very grateful for the journey as well, because like Dr. Sue mentioned, those soul contracts, I do believe in that. I believe in that and I kind of feel like we're all here to I don't believe anything we experience is to harm us, right? So for me to really believe that in my heart, I can't hold an ill will towards or a malice towards someone that I had such a beautiful experience with having a child and things like that. I just can't. But yeah, so that's what I can say. I take accountability of just kind of not knowing who I was, what I wanted to experience. Coming from a lot of childhood trauma, I had no sense of saying no to things. I had no sense of standing up for myself, just allowing things to happen in my life that I didn't like, but I still let it go on in anyway. And then the outcome of not knowing how to deal with that was like, well, I'll get you back. Like, you hurt me, so now I'm gonna hurt you. That type of thing. It was like, gosh, I kind of look back now and I'm just like, my goodness. But it's a learning journey. I learned a lot, so I'm very grateful for it. But yeah, but like I want to say something to what Dr. Sue was saying. I don't want to be nobody's mama except for my son. And I don't, I can't it's nothing attractive to me if I feel like I need to raise you or I need to. It's just something I'm not attracted to. I can't do it. I can't be your mother. I've experienced that already, and to where it's like you take care of every little single thing, and is a blink of an eye, that person can turn around and give you their ass to kiss, and I'm like, you know what? Um, listen here, you know, I like this. That will never happen again. But it's something I had to learn. And so no, I don't want to raise you. I don't want nothing to do with that. If we're not at least somewhere near close to the same level, then no, that's it. I don't want anything to do with it.
I hear that. And to your point and to Dr. Sue's point, like people on the other side of that, because I've been on the other side of that, as being someone, and you see, when you start to see that the person that you're with are trying to raise you and trying to put you in a certain type of thing, and you see the agenda becomes exposed, it's the fucking worst feeling ever. It's just like, you should have said that from the jump, because we would have been further along with your agenda by now. Because if this ain't learned terms, like, we could have just been doing business and fucking this whole time. Like, you messing up the vibe right now. Like, what are you doing? Because we don't want to be a project either. We know what we're capable of, and I tell you, it ain't nothing better when you can mix good connection with good business. And a lot of us try to build that. Like the person who is in business, we try to teach them how to be with us and be sensual and be soft. And then the person that's soft or whatever ain't got no business mind. We trying to learn them up and get them some certifications and put them in some classes and stuff, or the person who's not very outgoing, we try to drag them to the parties. We try to get them out and be social. We're always thinking, like Dr. Sue say, fall in love with this potential. And it doesn't matter what spectrum that you put people in. If you can't meet someone where they are, justify how long you think it may go and be okay with that. If you're not okay with that gut reaction of how long you think that's going to go, then just don't even bother. Because you are constantly telling your gut that you can't trust who comes to you because you don't trust you. So enter in if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't enter in if you're going to be complaining about that shit later. Like, what you do that for? You know what it was. If anything, just go in the bathroom and give yourself a high five and be like, I know it. Then let that thing go and figure out your strategy from there. But, let's stop beating ourselves up about relationships and situations we get into in relationships when it doesn't end the way that we had liked. But if we can really just dial ourselves back and realize that we are going through this experience and there's so many lessons to learn along the way, and it doesn't matter who is in front of us to teach them to us. People are interchangeable. But what we're looking for is joy. What we're really looking for is happiness. Not no man, not no woman, not no long term. We're looking for these emotions that are when we want to be amplified and experienced on a regular basis. And the best way to do that is to find someone else who wants to experience those same things. But in order to attract that person in, we got to amplify it where we are right now. And then that's when we start to see more and more people. It starts off as friendships, like Malik was saying, when he goes to these places and within a couple of days, he knows where it's going. But that doesn't mean you got to cut them off. You make sure that you energetically put them where they belong and then continue to have that joy. Continue to have those deep conversations. You may not be attracted to them. You may not want to have sex with them, but dang it, if they like the same kind of stuff, keep talking to them because that's what you want to amplify. If you didn't meet the wrong person, you just trying to put them in a box that they don't belong in. You met the right person every single time because you are constantly meeting yourself over and over again. So value where you are, value the people that show up, and have a good time with it. Because, baby, we ain't here for a long time. We here for a good time. You hear me? So any final words? Because we on the hour and a half mark right now. So y'all just unmute yourself and just say your final words in whatever group. And once everybody go around, we're going to end this thing.
Well, I guess it started with me and it can end with me. I appreciate y'all tonight. I heard some insight. Maybe we'll get back together next Sunday and I'll have some questions next Sunday. I'll be more prepared so we can figure this thing out. So.
Absolutely. It was good to see your face in the room. I ain't talked to you in a while, so this was good. This was refreshing.
For a minute, my life is sitting. I'm just in a tornado. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just wherever it throw me. Just as long as I'm not over there in Oz, I'm good.
Click them heels together, baby. Bring it on home. Who wanna go next?
All right.
For me, I would just say everybody trust your intuition, even if you don't like the answer. It's also what I am doing myself. So it's your girl Tina Book with Tina.com.
Bookwithtina.com. Who next? Go ahead, Shalita.
All I can say is stay woke and be aware. That's it. All I got.
That's what's up. I'm doing both. Who else? Who else? Go ahead, Jonette.
I'll go. I'll leave with what I usually always try to leave with is self-compassion and grace. Always self-love, but sometimes we forget to give ourselves grace and compassion because we don't always make what we call. I don't think there is a right or wrong decision. I just don't. I just think that it is what it is. We learn in our own ways, but sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves. So just give yourself more grace and compassion. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Sue? Oh, go ahead, Dion. I seen you unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay. For me, throughout a lot of my thinking through our conversations today, it just always brings me back to the serenity prayer, and understanding it and applying it to your life. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, fall. It's okay to not be perfect because that's where you learn. Those are the places that you're going to grow in. So as you go through life and you experience things, it's designed to test you. As we said, the tests are going to come. They're never going to stop. But look for what you're supposed to learn out of those things that you can progress to the person that you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. All right, Dr. Sue, bring us on home. Then we're going to close this bad boy out.
I just want to say that I don't believe in coincidences and I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in errors. I think that everything is a learning experience and it is here what it happens to expand your soul. And so when you are in a situation, one of the questions that I would encourage you to ask is this expansive or is it restrictive? If it is expansive, then it's something that perhaps you should lean into even more deeply. But if you feel that it's restrictive, and that's when your psyche, your spirit, your soul is going to be just, yeah, then you need to consider stepping back from that. I want to say to Malik that I've never been there, so I don't know, but they tell me that there's peace in the center of the tornado, in the center of the storm. And so if for each of us, if we can just stay grounded, know that all this shit is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to work out, period.
Ashe, Ashe. Thank you, guys. I love you all so much individually and collectively. Y'all know I do. Thank you so much for spending time with us out there in YouTube and Facebook world. We'll share the Instagram somewhere. I just realized I deleted it from my phone, so we'll get it out there. I love you guys. And just remember, you are who you constantly meet. And if there's anything needs to change about who shows up, it needs to be you. Because you show up to everywhere you are. I love you all. See ya.